Before last February's storms that knocked out power to a large part of our viewing area, CPS Energy was kind of something we just took for granted. We expected the power was going to be there. We expected that the water would be there through SAWS. Well, February kind of changed all that, and it has the potential to change our rates as well when it comes to our bills from energy. And we are glad to be welcoming CPS Energy President and CEO Paula Gold-Williams with us live for this KSAT Q&A. Paula, thank you for joining us. Right off the top, you talked about rate increases and the fact that they are likely 10%. I mean, what numbers are you looking at, and is there a time frame on how long these rate increases will last?
Very much so. Steve, thanks for the question. It's really relevant and top of everyone's mind. I would tell you, we have been talking about a rate increase probably since the last one, which was more than 8 years, almost 8 years ago. And we've only done one in almost 12 years. So we try every single year not to have one. We try all types of cost control and optimization. I would tell you that we've gone under a lot of pressure in terms of trying to help our customers work through the pandemic. As you mentioned, Storm Uri had quite of an impact on us. So we are in a pre-rate consideration period right now. I would tell you that we will probably, it looks like we're coming in the next month or so to talk to our board and our council and open up a dialogue with the community about the need and what's driving everything in more detail.
You talked about how rate increases were discussed even years ago when the last one happened, but we know that in the aftermath of that storm, CPS Energy had to pay millions for energy when so much of the state did not have power. And of course, CPS Energy and you yourself have faced some criticism because of that. So with this rate increase and questions people have about what happened during that winter storm, what is your message to customers who are now faced with higher bills?
Well, look, I would say that Storm Uri was a horrible experience for San Antonio and Texas. Millions of people lost power, and there were huge systemic failures across the state that happened to many, many people. And I am so sorry for those experiences. We were already having financial challenges. I mean, again, to go 8 years, I don't know of anything that has gone 8 years without a rate increase, but to do that and not to have a disconnect process since last March was pressure. Relative to the storm, the reliability crisis happened, and it was 10 times more extensive than what we had seen in 2011. We are fighting for the systemic failures to protect our customers from all the things that happened during that storm. And we are working on the improvements that we need to make. We did weatherize, but we're going to weatherize more because 70 hours is a much different experience. Those costs, though, have not been pushed on to our customers. I would tell you there are utility companies across the state that did push those balances to their customers, and they saw big increases of maybe $5,000 bills, $10,000 bills. We said that's not acceptable, and so we held those. We're fighting as much as we can to prevent the overall impact. We'll look at everything we can to make sure there's no rate shock, but we ultimately have to start planning for a potential increase from operations, for reliability, for all the things that we need to do. And we're going to make sure that we make that impact from Storm Uri as affordable as possible as we fight to keep those costs down.
You know, it was a double whammy. I think a lot of people expect that there will be a rate increase, but it was a double whammy with the power on top of then SAWS having to shut down some of its generators because the power need was so great. Have you figured out a way that won't happen again in the future, that the SAWS pumps will stay online and that CPS Energy isn't going to have to go to SAWS and say, you're going to have to shut down some of these circuits?
Well, I would tell you that Robert Puente's organization at SAWS and mine here at CPS Energy have had a tremendous amount of outreach to each other. We've done desktop exercises. We are looking at ways to improve our communication and our response levels. We're looking at contingency plans and different ways that we can weatherize both our infrastructure and SAWS to be able to weatherize their infrastructure. We're looking at resiliency programs that they're looking at investing in. We're going to consult them on that. And we're also looking at an alert and readiness system that we can follow and they can follow to improve the communications. So we can't stop Mother Nature. Mother Nature is going to happen, but I think we're going to have a much better response. We're not going to have the long outages that we had before. We think we really will be able to rotate them, and we'll be able to coordinate with SAWS and keep that water pressure up. That's the goal of both of our organizations.
CPS Energy is facing lawsuits in the aftermath of that storm as well. Can you talk about, we understand that, certain things cannot be discussed in the legal process, but tell us where we are right now in terms of the status of some of those challenges that CPS Energy is now facing in a courtroom.
Well, let me clarify that the lawsuit and litigation strategy was ours to drive. Yes, we've had some parties try to sue us back. But what we're fighting for is we believe that ERCOT, in particular, certain natural gas suppliers reacted against public policy. For them to say this is an opportunity for them to make hundreds of millions of dollars, if not billions of dollars, in the face of a declared disaster across our state when people needed power most. And really, basically, utility companies were scrambling to get the energy sources that they need, the fuel that they needed. So we started the primary focus of litigation. Now, we tried negotiation. We tried, and we did work, I think, very successfully directionally with elected officials. What can we do differently to make sure that we don't have these same problems again? But we didn't get full resolution. And right after the reliability crisis, we had an affordability crisis. We had one of the entities bill us, demand money before they demanded the money before they ever billed us. They knew they got a windfall and they went after it to try to get from us. We beat down that request for $300 million. We also beat down a request from ERCOT to get $800 million to float the market and to make sure that we were putting San Antonio's money out there. That's what the request was. And we fought that. We have fought on those bases and won. We have fought on the basis of force majeure to say that we need to have our customers protected here in San Antonio. We have fought and won on venue because we believe that this is a San Antonio issue and we need it to be done in San Antonio courts. You don't hear that in the news because we're just here fighting every single day. But that's the basis of what's happening. Now, we have been able to move forward. A couple of companies really negotiated with us, but very few. We're still working on those items. But we're going to use the courts to try to prevail in this case. If we get sued in response, we think that's just the fight that we have to take on to fight for San Antonio.
Before I let you go, quickly give us a time frame for when the rate hikes and exactly the number we're looking at for rate hikes will be announced.
Well, I would tell you that I think it's imminent. I mean, I think we're right now in this we're accelerating the effort to make sure and have an opportunity like this one to tell people it is imminent. And we've been talking about it, though, very intensely for the entire year so far. So I would tell you in the next month or so, we believe that we're going to be coming in front of our board. Our council will be talking to our new committee, the Rate Advisory Committee, as well as our Citizens Advisory Committee, and every other organization that wants to have more information about what it's comprised of. In general, I would tell you it's about a 10% rate increase, and people would say why that is. Every year you put it off when it could be a couple of percentage points, it just increases in mass. So since it's been 8 years and now we have this mounting pressure, yes, it's double digits, around a 10% increase. That means if you have an average every single month, an average, some months are higher and some are lower, but if your average is about $100 a month, then you're going to get about a $10 bill increase. If it's about $150, it's going to be about a $15 increase. Right. And we understand how important that is. We're not going to ask for one more penny than we need, and we continue to tighten our belts. We've saved over almost $900 million over these last 8 years, again, trying to keep the cost down low. But we're right at the pressure that we need to come forward, and we will come forward with more detail and more information.
8 years since an increase, but also a very costly weather emergency that we all lived through back in February. Paula Gold-Williams, President and CEO of CPS Energy, thanks for being here.
Thank you, ma'am.
We'll be right back.